Hey, folks, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Steelers Morning Rush. I'm Alan Saunders. It is Friday, September 19th. Sorry, we're getting started a little bit late today. Had a question about the Steelers' defensive scheme, and this goes way beyond, with the play calling, things like that. But AFL 67 Pitt says if you didn't play an obsolete 3-4 scheme that almost no teams use anymore because it's time in the modern NFL's past, this question doesn't even need asking. The question was about whether the Steelers need a nose tackle. Please just go to a 4-3 in the next few years. Well, I just counted 22 of the 32 NFL teams use a base 3-4 defense. It is the more popular base defense by far. And the Steelers play a 4-2 nickel about 80% of the time. So I don't know where people get this idea that the Steelers defensive scheme or the 3-4 in general is somehow old-fashioned or out of date. I think the 3-4 is a really, really strong defensive scheme, especially against the run. Of all of the defensive schemes that anyone uses at the NFL level, it is probably the best against the run. The way the Steelers run their 3-4, especially now, it is basically a 5-2. You cannot get more strong against the run than that outside of a goal line defense. You are not going to find anybody running heavier personnel than the Pittsburgh Steelers in their base defense. And their nickel is the same as, some teams will play a 3-3-5 nickel where it's an odd front nickel, but almost everybody plays the same 4-2-5 nickel that the Steelers play. So there's nothing abnormal. When the Steelers play the Patriots, it's going to be the same defense on both sides of the ball. When the Steelers played the Seahawks, it was the same defense on both sides of the ball. When the Steelers play the Minnesota Vikings, it's going to be the same defense. Now, these defenses have differences, certainly. But, like, Javon Hargrave is going to go play defensive tackle for the Vikings just like he did for the Steelers. There's differences in coverages. The Steelers are one of the few teams that still run a lot of cover 3. It's probably the most old-fashioned thing that they do. But the rest of this defense is perfectly normal. The idea that the 3-4 is out of date is just dead wrong. Some of the best defenses in the league year in and year out run elements of a 3-4. The Philadelphia Eagles run elements of a 3-4. The Eagles can run both and have very good defense. And I don't see any real benefit to the Steelers, quote unquote, switching to a 4-3. They have undersized edges for that job. Like, you could not play a 4-3 defense with Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt as your edge rushers. You need bigger edge rushers to play a 4-3. And for what? Like, there's no benefit. It's not like that defense is fundamentally better than a 3-4. And it's a very adaptable front. You can do all kinds of stuff with it. You can play it skinny. You can play it heavy. You can play it tight, which the Steelers mostly do now. But there's no, I don't know what you can think the best defense in the NFL is, but I'm sure they probably play some version of a 3-4 at some point, and they almost certainly play the same nickel the Steelers play. So there's no of the issues with the Pittsburgh Steelers, the defensive scheme is not one of them. The individual players need to play a lot better. There's some coverage things they need to correct in terms of some technique problems, some communication problems. Communication, a lot of people get upset when people say, oh, why is it still communication problems? Because communication problems are actually 40 different problems that all just get called communication. Sometimes you have a true communication problem where I thought you said Mike and you said Ralph. Sometimes you have a communication problem where someone made a check and somebody else didn't get it. Those are sort of true communications problems. Then you have communications problems that are really more than that, where a player was supposed to see something and another player was supposed to see something, and they were supposed to non-verbally be on the same page. Like, two players are supposed to see something and think the same way and come to the same conclusion. That happens a lot where they get it wrong. I saw this and I thought this. Well, I saw this and I thought this. That's a miscommunication, even though there was no active communicating. And then there's just guys who got the message but didn't listen or did the wrong thing, screwed up. That all get blamed on communication too, even though they're not. Just because it's easier to say we can communicate right than it is to say Chris went off the reservation again. I don't know what he was thinking. And so, but yeah, I mean, you could there's only so many ways to play defense. Like, there's nothing special or unique about what the Steelers do. There's nothing special or unique about what 90% of the defenses do. It's a pretty common defensive scheme, and it's definitely not the problem. All right, that's all I got for today. Me, Smitty, DB, Afternoon Drive, 6 o'clock here on the YouTube channel and in your audio feeds. Make sure you stay tuned for that. Until then, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and enjoy.